Alright guys, round 2 action to the March Friday Night Magic Championships from here at Lost Legion Games and Comics. On the left, it's Jeremy Bales playing a white Weenie deck. We've seen him play this in multiple instances before. It's exactly what you would expect. And his opponent, Alec Myers, are reigning. Well, he won the FNM Championship in January. He split the FNM Championship in February. Let's see if he can go for 3 in a row here with his red-green devotion deck. So Jeremy off to the races, turn 1 Dried Militant, turn 2 Daring Skycheck, turn 3 Spear. Basically the perfect curve here. Alec with a turn 2 Frostburn Weird into a turn 3 Springleaf Drum, not where he wants to be. The Springleaf Drum, just a 2-0. It's an awkward card in Alec's deck that I always give him grief about, but there's literally not anything better, and it does allow for turn 2 Dom Raise and helps him to accelerate slightly. So Xenagos online here. Alec does have access to a lot of mana this turn, should he want it. Springleaf Drum, a card that they reprinted because of the inspired mechanic. I don't think a single inspired card has made it into standard, but Springleaf Drum, a pretty good mana accelerant. Obviously very, very powerful in modern, as we see Alec resolve a Xenagod, but hasn't really made a splash here in standard as of yet. So Jeremy, in a bit of a situation here, that single Frostburn Weird is a pretty horrible card for him to have to deal with, as he had a pretty aggressive start here. He does have two battalion creatures here, and the spear, so he can eventually create a critical mass, as we see Alec resolve a Boros Reckoner. Still access to 6 mana if he wants to tick up his Xenagos. 7 mana if he wants to use a Springleaf Drum, but at this point he just might not have anything to do with that mana. Of course, his high end is a Stormbreath Dragon. His Nykthos activation right now is enormous. I believe it's for 7? Yep. Make a Satyr. Play a Nykthos. Is there even anything to do with the mana? Interesting he gives it to the Satyr here and not the Boros Reckoner. Talking about the Xenagod's ability. So you get a free block on Xenagos with the Pro Multicolored Soldier of the Pantheon. One of those satyrs is a 4-2, the other just a 2-2 here. Yeah. And Jeremy just decides to take it. Goes down to 10. Looking for some help here. Not a matchup Jeremy can be real excited about here, as Alec gets on the board very, very quickly, and Jeremy does not have doesn't really have the ability to go over the top. In the sideboard games he'll get Blind Obedience, which I'm sure he'll bring in, which will allow him to attack through, and especially good on the play, but game 1 looks to have slipped away from him. He's also drawn a fair number of lands in a deck that never really wants to get more than about 4 lands on board. So activating Nykthos for a Storm Breath Dragon. Chain of Nykthos. Monstrosity. The Storm Breath. Deal 2 directly to Jeremy. Attack with the 7/7 Dragon. With the Xenogod's trigger, that's going to be enough. So Jeremy with a very aggressive start, but just could not pull through. As a lot of the creatures in Alec's deck that are designed to provide devotion later in the game also serve as a pretty good wall against the 1 and 2 drop creatures out of the White Weenie deck. Guys, I want to take this chance to remind everybody that on April 5th, that's 2 weeks from tomorrow, Lost Legion in South Charleston hosting another Star City Games Invitational Qualifier. It's a $25 standard tournament that starts at noon, and the winner gets not only an invite to the Star City Invitational of their choice in the upcoming season, which includes the stop in Columbus this summer, but also $250 in cash. The rest of the top 8 receiving Open Series points if you want to try and qualify for the Invitational manually. Also an exclusive playmat and a top 8 pin, and as well as pack prizes as you see listed. And we're going to try and increase the prize pool. If we get, the more players we get, the more we're going to stick into the pool, or at least I'm trying to encourage that here at the store. So like I say all the time, if you're a couple hours away, it's a perfect opportunity to come down, meet some folks that you've seen on the stream over the last year and a half, play under the camera yourself, as well as win some great prizes and possibly qualify for the most lucrative Magic tournament each quarter, the Star City Games Invitational. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me on my various forms of social media, or go contact the store at their contact information as listed. So off to the races here. Jeremy Bales on the play. He's down a game to the Red-Green Devotion deck of Alec Myers. Starts off with a white Scry land, but then follows it up with 2 1-drops on turn 2. But there is the Frostburn Weird that causes so much problems. Jeremy correctly remembering his trigger from the Soldier of the Pantheon. The Soldier's going to be able to get in here. But that Dryad Militant is not. There's a Blind Obedience. And there is another Dryad Militant. And then Jeremy likely correctly leaving the Dryad Militant back. Next turn he can attack with all 3 creatures and force through 2 more damage. Uh-oh. There is an Anger of the Gods. Sideboarded out of Alec's deck. Likely the best card he could have in that situation. Jeremy goes down to 20. Off an attack from the Frostburn Weird. It has to slowly rebuild here. Down to just 2 cards in hand. There's a Precinct Captain Extorted, so some potential card advantage. One of the better creatures that Jeremy can have in this situation, short of a Brimaz, or Brimaz, I don't know how you pronounce it. Let's see what Alec has up his sleeve here. He's stuck on all red mana. Stuck on all red mana until he plays a Burning Tree, which gives him the mana to make a Xenagos. Is it good etiquette to eat an apple while commentating a Magic game? So Jeremy lands up Fiendslayer Paladin, which is effectively mono protection from red. Then serves in with his Precinct Captain, and Alec just offering off the block. Really no incentive, I guess, for... Well, I mean, it does have first strike, so he could leave it back to block a Satyr. Alec just serving in with the Frostburn Weird. Jeremy is going to chump block it. Probably didn't need to block at that point, but I honestly don't think it's really going to matter. What's the best card Jeremy can draw at this point? Bright Mask? Probably. Not sure it really matters. Swings in again with his precinct captain. Looks like Alec will most likely chump with the satyr. I'll just take the 2, give him the extra token. Doesn't even feel threatened. And there is a Daring Skyjack with Extort. So Jeremy at least putting up a fight in terms of the his life total here. He does have 3 creatures now to activate Battalion. Alec still has not drawn a green mana source here. Of course, he can get green off of the Xenagos +1. So serving in with the team here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 13 damage representing here if Alex sinks all of his mana into Frostburn Weird activations. Two mana, 4. The third of Frostburn Weird. We're going to tick up and cast something huge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh my goodness, the Fanatic is huge. 1, 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. And then play another Xenagos. Oh my. That's a heck of a turn. If Jeremy draws balance, instead he draws blind obedience. Get you some. And just like always, Alec doing something borderline degenerate. Devotion, a strong mechanic. We'll step outside and see if there's another match we can slot over. If not, I might just play some Legacy or something.